There we go. And we shall start. Begin with the four the loosening exercises. So shoulder width in the feet, upright in the spine. Open the body up. Raise the crown of the head. Settle. Important not just to go into the exercise, but actually bring in the quality of organization to your posture. Find the quality of change in the muscles that allow you to be settled, be buoyant, and be upright, and to let go of as much holding as you can. Really find that starting point. Like starting with as much quality as you can. And then from that place, drawing down under the foot as if water is leaving the body through the foot into the ground. As if water fills the whole body. Under the foot is like a plug. You take out the plug and the bath water can all empty down and under the foot. Stay with the foot as you come back up. Take your mind to the opposite foot, plug, take the plug away, draw down underneath the foot. But all the meltings and all the letting go are down into that foot and underneath, which pushes that foot onto the ground, makes contact, giving you the stable base onto which to let everything else go. Stay with that foot as you come back up. Take the mind across to the opposite foot and release. We want to make sure, I've just lost my camera. We want to make sure that the body changes in the correct way. The body changes in Tai Chi need to be so that we allow the body weight to press us onto the ground. So our structure needs to be correct so that when the foot softens, it makes contact with the ground. That structure in the foot is what supports the whole rest of the body. And it's like the foundation of a building. It needs to have the structure that can take the weight of the whole rest of the building, because the weight of the body is immense. The weight of the body, when we're not holding it up, is much heavier than we think it is. So we need the support of the foot and the ankle, especially, so that the rest of the body can settle onto it. We initiate that support very, very early on in our movement. Before we even move the weight, we initiate that support. How do we do that? How do we initiate the foundation that allows the rest of the body on? So when I'm in this position, when I'm ready to start, I need to place 80% of my awareness into the foot to be present with the sensations of the foot and the ground. Then I need to put 80% of my focus on making sure that foot and ankle soften. That's like the first bit of water that goes down the plug hole. When you take the plug out of the bath, the first bit of water that goes down is the bit of water that's right next to the plug hole. The foot softens, and the first thing that changes is that little bit just there. The ankle becomes organized, ready to receive the weight of the rest of the body. Now, if the ankle isn't organized and I just move, it's very, very easy to bring tension into the tendons that come through the lower part of the leg. So if I move and don't make the adjustment, I'll start to twist. And if I twist and I don't soften, that tension that's caused by twisting tends to solidify and make more tension the more I move. So it's really important that the first movement is not physical. The first movement is a letting go process. And the first letting go of what? Letting the foot connect. Letting the foot and ankle connect onto the ground. And then when you've got the foundation, the rest of the building is put in place. So it's very, very easy to bypass and skip over this fundamentally important place, because if we don't have the foundation in the ground to build the rest of the body on, then our postures are always going to be either held or unstable or toppling, like a triangle this way. We need to build, the water needs to leave the foot, under the foot, then the movement to place the body on. Bring the body back to the beginning position, 80% of the awareness in the foot, 80% of the intention to melt underneath the foot and create that foundation through which the movement can press you onto the foot. 80% in the foot, move. First change, move. We have to get out of the habit of moving first. Okay, so don't just move, and as you're moving, try and make the changes. Make the change first. Make the releasing, settling quality, then move. Make the settling quality, then move. Now, a little bit more information. The settling quality is very, very, very small. It's really, really, really easy to miss it, okay? Because to feel it, we need to be in quite a relaxed mind state. Our mind needs to be quiet because the movement's very small, and how we're adjusting the muscles in our foot is very delicate, okay? It's a really, really subtle thing. And it's very easy to gloss over subtle things, but this becomes really, really important, because without this stability in the foot, we can't build the layers up in a way that has substantiality. Okay, if we try and build layers on top of our foot and our foot's held, we try and move more, it twists more, we end up holding ourselves with our muscles rather than letting the weight of the body press us in. So this first bit is really important. And the temptation, and especially when we learn Tai Chi, is to get the movement right and to move in the right way. But as we become more able to feel our bodies and our minds become more nuanced in the sensations in the body, we're able to move our bodies in a different way. One more thing. There's no real separation from, this isn't like a new thing you have to do or a different thing. It's all part of the movement, but it's the leading edge of the movement. Okay, it's like you see a great big wave coming. There has to be a leading edge to that wave of the water drawing backwards in order for the wave to come forwards. The leading edge is the water coming backwards. The building of the wave is where you see the power in the movement, but that little trickle backwards is important because it's gathering the water into the wave. And our movement in Tai Chi has a leading edge. The mind has to lead the movement. The mind has to soften the body, settle the body, and then the movement's got a place to go. Okay, the movement has a place to reside or to fill. So let's do the first loosening exercise again, please. Be very, very awake and sharp with your mind that you're softening first and then moving. You're softening first. You're taking the plug out under the foot. The foot's pressing onto the ground. You're feeling that. And only when you're feeling the foot connect do you let go of the rest of the body. So the leading edge is to find the foot pressing onto the ground, followed by the whole weight of the body. First the foot, ankle, then the rest of the body. And as soon as the foot and ankle go in, you'll feel the knee engage, you'll feel the hips engage, then you've got structure to let go more and more and more and more. Foot, knee, hips, lower back, connect. Let the structure build from the ground upwards. Let the first bit of water that goes down the bath be the bit of water that's right next to the plug. So as soon as you move the plug out of the way, as soon as you give the intention to change, the foot changes first. Ankle, knee, stable. Foot, ankle, knee, stable. Foot, ankle, knee, stable. Okay. I'm going to ask you if this makes sense, if you can feel and follow what I'm trying to explain. Okay, I want a bit more than just a thumbs up, please. If you've got any comments about it, that's great.
Yeah, that absolutely makes sense. It kind of feels like the softening of the empty foot is what starts the whole movement going.
Yeah.
There's a tiny little bit of residual tension that's stopping you falling over. You let that go and the whole body just moves across, following the foot.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
It's just a question
exactly
then of keeping that release going upwards, because it can get blocked. So yeah, it's just that bit.
Yeah, great. So if you can pay attention to that first bit and train in a way that gets that first bit happening almost naturally, then the rest of the body, then train the rest of the body following it, and making sure that as the rest of the body lets go, it's into organization. It's not into just being floppy or being held. It follows that whole process. So it's like there's a right time for the middle bit of water in the bath to go down the plug hole, and it can't go down too early, and it can't go down there's a right time for it to go down with the rest of it.
Yeah.
So it's like all the water's going together, but it takes time for that middle bit to arrive in such a place that it's all flowing together, but the first bit that connects has to connect. Yeah, good. Okay. So when people get taught Tai Chi, different things get emphasized. Keep the hips level, move the hips fluidly, keep the body continuously moving, keep the head top suspended. There are many, many, many ideas, training ideas that we have to incorporate. And some teachers will emphasize one thing more than others, according to their understanding. And there are certain aspects that are more useful according to your understanding and your training. So if there are certain, and this is really difficult to unpick, okay, because someone says, keep the head up, keep the head top suspended, most important thing, relax, keep the head top suspended. And some people have to really focus on their head top to keep it awake, alive, upright, so they can let go from it. Other people just do that naturally. They've naturally got a sense of where the head is in relation to the ground. So you have to work out for yourself, what am I doing that's working? Whatever's working, you don't need to train so hard. Hooray. That's good. Whatever isn't working so well for you might be holding everything up. And you might need to put a little bit more emphasis in. That's why Zoom is tricky, because I can't see the whole of you moving. And I don't get the same feedback that I normally get. So I have to explain it more rather than just kind of coming, putting my hands on and letting you feel my body move, or noticing what you're doing, giving a small adjustment. Okay, so the last bit of water in the bath is the surface of the bath. Where do you think if we use the analogy that the whole body is filled up with water, the whole body is filled up with water, and the last bit of water that goes down the plug hole is the surface of the water, where do you think the surface of the water would be in the body? Fingertips. Okay, it's the fingertips. It's the last bit to arrive. We have to make sure the water that's on the surface of the bath isn't trying to get down the plug hole before it's due time. That means that if we drop the arms, if we make too big a change or too quick a change of the muscles in the shoulders, to drop the elbows, to drop the hands, before the middle section of the water has gone down and made contact, this bit's trying to get down the plug hole before the rest of it, and it becomes out of time with our movement. And I'm using this analogy because it's easy to see it as a mental picture. It's easy to see it pictorially, that the hands are like the surface of the water. The whole body's filled with water. We want to drain that water out. So the shoulders are going to go before the hands. When the shoulder goes, the arm slightly elongates. The arm slightly elongates, then gets pulled along. And while the shoulder's going down, the arm's going down. If the shoulder stops moving, the hand should stop as well. It's not swinging. The movement of the arm is not, it looks like it's swinging, it's not swinging. Swinging is where the whole arm softens together. The whole arm lets go together. What we're looking for is the shoulder following the movement of the body. The shoulder follows the sinking of the body. As the whole shoulder girdle follows, so the elbow and hands are drawn together with it. Mind to the foot settles, center settles, shoulders settle, and the arms follow. Mind to the foot, 80% in the foot. When the foot settled, 80% in the hips. When the hips are settled, 80% of focus in the shoulders. Only then should you start to be feeling and thinking about the fingertips moving. Foot, knee, hips, chest, shoulders, elbows, arms. So can you see the way we train Tai Chi? It's not to be quiet and peaceful and sleepy the whole time. We don't want to be kind of distant and kind of like in that zoned out space. We want the mind to be really sharp. The mind is really sharp. If you imagine drawing a bow and shooting an arrow, sure, there's stillness, but there's also real clarity and sharpness in where the arrow is going to go. There's softness, relaxation, and stillness. but there's also alertness. We want the mind to be active and alert, not zoned out and sleepy and distant. We don't want to use our Tai Chi as a quiet, calm and peaceful practice. That's at the core of it. Just as when you draw a bow, you've got to be quiet, calm and peaceful, but also alert. And the classics say the focus is like a falcon about to catch a rodent. That falcon about to catch a rodent. That alertness, adjustment of the wingtips and alertness. It's not about a falcon having a kind of la na 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 kind of you know, you don't see that in the animal kingdom so much. You see it in the humans as we space out. We don't want to space out with our Tai Chi. Focus. Keep the focus light and concentrated. And know what you're working on. Know where your focus should be in the body. Know where your focus should be. Generate strong intention in that area to change. Foot, water, knee settles, hips settle, shoulders, elbows, wrists. So my mind or my focus is moving as I move, my focus is moving. As I move, my focus is moving through me. Okay, good. Let us look at some movements in the form. We'll go through the form to cross hands together. Then we'll look at the last little bit. Last week we got to the folding and the sitting back, the opening of the hands as you come forward to push position. This week we'll look at, from there, we'll look at the closing and the cross hands. We'll look at this move this week. Okay, so we'll go from the beginning of the form together, please. Quietly draw your mind onto the body sensations. Feel your whole body as a tube of water. From the feet right through to the crown of the head. Like a big tube, upright tube filled with water. Let every single part of your body be filled and soft. If there's parts of your body that you're not so aware of, maybe places in the middle back or upper back, just let that part of the body be part of the container of this water and feel the water inside pressing outwards to your skin, filling you. Let the body be very loose, constantly making small adjustments to keep you in balance. When we start the form, let the water trickle out under the feet, and the whole tube of water responds. Keep trickling out as you go onto the right foot. Keep trickling out until the left lands. Move across, trickling out under the left foot. Whole body responds. Settle, realign, find the tube of water again. Use the legs. Draw the mind up. Under the feet, soften the feet. Make the feet connect, the ankles, the knees, the lower back, the shoulders, the arms. Turn. Take your mind to the left foot. Draw down under the left foot. Take the mind to both feet. Draw down under both feet as you come into the center. Small rebound. Draw down under the right foot and then turn. Draw down under both feet to come forwards. Let the whole body go. Small rebound from the back foot. Draw down under the left foot. Connect. Sink and turn. Step right. Draw down under both feet to come into the center. Small rebound to turn to the corner. Square. Draw down under the left foot to sit back. 90% weight in the left turn. Maintain your stability as you turn back. Draw down under both feet. Settle both feet and ankle into the ground. Let your body weight come down on top of that. Small rebound. Draw back under the left foot, 90% back. Hands separate. Draw down under both feet. Settle both feet onto the ground. Move the body weight onto both feet. Connected, small rebound. Draw back to the left foot. Settle the left foot. The body weight presses onto it. Turn. Right foot. Settle. Turn without disrupting the structure of the body. Step, reach out, step without disrupting the structure of the body and without having to tighten the body to hold you in place. If you wobble and fall, doesn't matter. But don't tighten to keep your balance. Don't overreach. Maintain your structure as you turn and step. Sink underneath both feet. Move the body into the center. Rebound. Single leg. Find the left foot. Settle onto it. Move. Sink into both feet. Settle the body into both feet. Rebound. As you go into white crane spreads wings and turn, don't lose your structure. Maintain your structure. And settle. As you turn open, maintain your structure. Don't let the turning pull you out of alignment. Turn back, fold, step. Under both feet, let both feet settle. Move into both feet. Rebound. Find the left foot. Settle onto the ground. Then move the weight into that foundation. Brush left knee to a step. As soon as you step, settle into the feet. Move the body into the feet to stabilize and settle. Small rebound. Sit back. Sink into both feet. Let the whole body press down onto the ground. Stabilize. Small rebound to punch. Fold. Draw the left hand across as you sit back. Fingers just separate, hands turn over as you come forward and sink into both feet. Small rebound to the fingertips. Close, sit back, turn, open, drop onto the left, cross hands. So, you've probably gathered by now that I do my Tai Chi quite slowly. Okay. I see Fred smiling there. I'm encouraging Fred to slow down a little bit in his Tai Chi. Why? Why? Because it's very easy to gloss over the important things when you do your Tai Chi too quickly. You don't always have to do it slowly. Okay, don't always have to do your Tai Chi slowly. Sometimes I'll do a quick form, or I'll do the quick fist or the white crane, maybe twice as fast. I'm focusing on something different when I do that. I'm not focusing my mind very subtly when I move faster. When I move faster, I'm looking much more to try and get things happen naturally. When I move slower, I'm taking real care that I'm not just moving. I'm actually building a foundation as I move it. I'm filling a foundation as I'm building a structure on top of what I set up as I move into the posture. Let's look at the next move, which is cross hands. I'll do the move a couple of times. Have a look for the accuracy of the movement. We've just done the punch. I'm going to do it facing this way so that when I come to do cross hands, you'll see me facing you. I'll turn around a few different times. The punch. Remember, the punch comes from the base and through. Sinking onto the base, connecting in first. You need the body to be fully connected to bring the power of the ground to the fist. The body needs to be connected. The example is those Newton's cradles where the balls hit each other. All those balls are lightly connected and touching. Every single part of the body is lightly connected and touching. Easy to say, difficult to do. Takes a long time of training to get the muscles to soften in such a way that it presses the body into, the weight of the body presses itself into connection. Then any rebound from the ground or straightening of the back leg immediately comes to the fist. And remember the exercises we've been doing, pushing into the wall. Increase the pressure in the wall as if you're pushing into the wall, but don't let the pressure increase at the back of the knuckles. Don't let that pressure increase. Make a change in the body between the fist and the feet, so the body has to close to take the pressure off the knuckles. That will give you a sense of what you have to do before you issue. As if there's a wall here, push into the wall, but don't let the fist increase in pressure. Change the body somewhere else. Now I'm connected. Small increase from the back leg, rebound, punch. Fold the arm, palm up to 45 degrees, so the arm is turning to the corner. Sit back, the left arm on the outside wipes over the right. As I sit back, 90% back, the fingers just separate. When I move forward, I'm sinking both feet. As I'm sinking, my shoulders drop. This is the hands turning over. So the hands turning over as I come forward comes from what I do with my shoulder girdle. Doesn't come from the wrist. never an independent movement of the turning of the wrist. You don't want these two bones to turn over each other because they very easily get locked. And if you've ever done any martial art with anyone who's good at wrist locks, you'll know that it's not a good idea. It's something they look for. There's this place where you're put yourself in a corner where you can't get out of it. So the movement of the hands turning over comes from how you rotate your shoulders, not how you rotate your wrists. So what we're looking for when we come forwards here, the upper body connecting, lower body, upper body, elbows connect. So at the time that I arrive into the connected position, that's when the hands have finished their movement, because that's when the rest of the body's movement is finished. So when we come forwards, let's do it together. As we come forwards, everything finishes, small rebound. As I'm on the right leg, I'm coming forward into the center, everything finishes, rebound. Try a few times yourself. Sitting back, long in the arms, hands face you, they just separate. Moving forwards, the shoulders follow the base. The elbows, the wrists, the hands turn over. They arrive in the push position as my base arrives in the center. Important to try and coordinate the arrival. Yeah, that's it, Toby. Yeah, that's it. Fred, when you sit back, your left arm slides over your right and your hands are facing you here. So when you sit back, your palms are facing you. When you move forwards, they roll over. This movement. So when you sit back, Kath, a bit longer in the arms. So from the punch here, if you look from the punch here, when you sit back, it's as if your left hand stays where it is and your right arm is pulled through. So my arms are quite long here. It's very similar to when we did the press earlier in the form. When you sit back, your arms are long and then they turn over here. When you sit back here, your arms are long and then you move in, hands turn over. I'm going through this bit because the next posture comes out of this bit. So we want this bit to be clear and then the next move comes out of it. And also for those that aren't on video tonight, they'll get the recording. Yeah. Okay. Good. So we're in the center. It's a push. This time our left foot's forward. When we did the push earlier in the form, our right foot was forward, but it's exactly the same. It's exactly the same. It's just that now we've got our left foot forward in bow stance and we're in a push position. Small issue into the fingers. We can practice that by, again, using our wall. Aim to increase the pressure from your fingers into the wall, but make the necessary changes in your body so the pressure doesn't increase in your fingertips. And what happens is your body starts to draw down and condense, right? Don't tighten your body, but instead of increasing the pressure out from your fingers, so you hit something, keep the pressure at your fingers exactly the same and let your body change. You can practice that push by pushing into a wall. If you can practice that, Master Huang said that the form is where you generate your power, your connection, your centering, and your stability and your issuing forces. All these things are generated in the form practice. The push hands is for sensitivity, when to use your stability, when to use your issuing. The sensitivity comes from feeling your partner. Because we're not doing push hands, we can't develop sensitivity in the same way, but we can develop the timing of how we settle, the feeling of how we would push into a wall, so that when we come to work with a partner, instead of just pushing the hands out, we imagine the partner is the wall. We imagine the partner is the wall, and we don't want to build any pressure on our partner. If we push into our partner and our hands increase pressure onto them, it'll stabilize them. It'll give them some structure onto which to balance. We don't want that. We want them to be falling over. We want them to think they can balance on us, but we take it away. We keep taking it away. And as we keep taking it away with our fingers and our hands, so our body stabilizes more and more and more and more. They come up, we go down. They go up, we come down. So they get to a position where they're kind of looking for stability. Stability isn't going to be there for them. We don't give them the stability. And if when we practice the form, we can think, there's a person here, or there's a wall here. What changes do I have to make not to push the wall? What changes do I have to make in my body not to push the wall? It's exactly the changes you'll make when you do push hands. So, next bit of structure of the form. Push. As I sit back, the hands level off. As you sit back, the hands, which were upwards, level off. Also, they were A-framed and they parallel. Okay, so there's two specific things happening here. The arms are lengthening and the hands are dropping slightly, and they are opening this way. So they were wedged together in an A-frame and they parallel. The body is sinking onto the back leg, sinking down. I can't explain, we need a partner really to feel what this is like. If someone's coming towards you to push, you're taking their arms and you're closing. The whole sense of this is closing down, like an umbrella being drawn downwards. And when an umbrella is drawn downwards, the wings of the umbrella come in, this movement in. What you'll do is you'll take their base away. In here, this movement in. All the water's going into your back leg, shoulders, elbows, in. Let's just have a go on this one move. The feeling is of drawing in and closing, sinking and closing, everything getting drawn in as we sit back. With the left foot forwards, sink and drawing. See how there's one span here, nice big circle, draw it in. You're still going to end up with one span, but the elbows are coming in narrower. That's because of the changes you're making with your chest and your shoulders. 90% in the back leg. Okay, when we reach the back leg and we've closed, we're going to turn. I'll do it here so you can see the whole move. Have a look. Sit back and close. Turn. The left hand stays where it is. The right hand comes in with the turning body. The left foot is now facing 12 o'clock. The thumb on the center of the chest. Sinking. Sinking. You've got to make sure that when you turn here, you don't destabilize your right leg. So close, turn. Close, turn. You've got to make sure that this turning of the body coincides with your stabilizing, and you don't move the body in a way that destabilizes your foot. Close, find your foot. Turn, find your foot. Have a go, please. Those two moves. Sit back, close, turn. Sinking the whole time. Just to the thumb on the center of the chest. Thumb is on the center of the chest. Sternum. Sit back, close, long in the arms, turn. Thumb on the center of the chest. Your right thumb on the center of the chest. Touches, just skins over the center of the chest. And it coincides, the timing of the hand, the right thumb arriving on the center of the chest, as your left toes come in, as your left toes reach 12 o'clock, your body faces 12 o'clock, your right thumb touches. Try and get the coordination right first. So as your left toes come in to face 12 o'clock, your body faces 12 o'clock, your right thumb touches. Try and get that coordination right first. Do it half a dozen times to get the coordination right. Then look for the sinking and staying stable. If your coordination is out or your moves are inaccurate, do the simple things, get them looking more and more accurate. Then look for the more internal things after that. Yeah. Good. Okay. So next piece, please. Have a look. Sit back, close. Sinking, sinking, sinking. Turn. Arriving. Arriving. Don't stop, but make sure it's like joining the dots. Pass through the dot and make sure the dot's accurate. Dot. Bang. Then move to the left foot. Move by sinking and opening the lower back, stabilizing the left foot first, then moving on to it. Open up so the right foot opens. Pivoting on the heel, drop, and the hands cross and touch when the right foot lands. Close, turn, pass to the left foot, open up. As you open up the right hand, open up the right toes. So the right hand arrives fully open, the right toes arrive lifted and open to the corner. Drop, connect. Have a go, please. Sit back close, turn thumb on the center of the chest, open up, drop, and the hands cross the same time as the foot touches. Good. Nice open circle with the arms, not this one, this nice and open. But make sure the shoulders are dropped and the hands have got a really nice big roundness to them, not crossed like this, not crossed like that, but open, more open than crossed, more open. Yeah, that's it, Kath, that's great. Yeah. Fred, the right hand leaves the chest as you move on to the left foot. The right hand leaves the chest and opens as you move on to the left foot. That's it. That's it. Yeah, good. You want to feel like what would happen when you get into cross hands. What would happen if some nasty fella put their hand on the back of your wrist and pushed? What would happen to your posture and your structure? If you're in this position and someone was to come and push you here, what would happen to your posture? Would you fall over backwards? Would you be holding on with your arms? Okay, feel it. Feel when you go into cross hands. Turn. Where's your stability? Find it in the left leg and stabilize. So if someone was to push here, are you grounded and connected from the foot right through to the back of the wrists? Connected. And there's a way we can test that. Use the wall, use our friendly wall. So if I have cross hands and I push into the wall and I try to increase the pressure in the wall, but I sink in the body, that's the posture I want. That's the posture I want. As if I'm pushing out with my wrists, but instead of increasing pressure outwards, I sink. That's the posture I want. Okay, let's go from brush left knee twister, facing 9 o'clock. Play guitar. Brush left knee twister. Sit back, step forward, deflect downwards, intercept and punch, connect, rebound, sit back, Move in, connect, close, sitting back, turn, right thumb on the center of the chest, sit back open, drop onto the left, cross hands, sinking as you come into cross hands. Try that section, please, yourselves. See if there's any questions. Go at your own pace, your own speed. Good. Okay. Good. So we are at the end of an hour. Gone quick today, huh? I hope so. Anyway. Good. If there's anything you want to share, please unmute to close the class off with. If there's anything really useful in today's lesson, it's nice to share, or if there's anything you don't understand or want me to go over for next week again, please share and let me know. Next week, we will look at Embrace Tiger, Return to Mountain. Nice, complicated move, but we'll break it down into tasty bits that we can kind of understand more easily. Great. Okay, everyone's happy.
Hi, Luke. It's all making sense, if that to me anyway. There's one thing that didn't make sense, but in the other class that I had, and I'm not sure how that relates, and that is when you were releasing down, people would talk about filling, and I wasn't really quite sure what they meant by that. I don't know if that's a sensation you're supposed to feel as you're releasing, this sense of filling, but
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
you understand what I'm.
Yeah, I do. The you know, when I try to explain something, I try to use a lot of different idea metaphors or images that are the closer the image is to something you really understand, the better, right? So, for example, I use something like a bath water. We all take a bath, maybe not as often as each other, but we all take a bath, and we know what going down the plug hole means, right? So we can work with it. We know what hanging from a thread is like, because we've all got, you know, we see a light bulb hanging from a thread, so we know what these things are like, so that it makes them very accessible. Something like filling is an accurate metaphor, but it's a difficult one to understand. Because you think of the movement going that way downwards, how can it be filling? The image I like is the Chinese image, is that you cut the corner off a bag of rice, hang a bag of rice up, you cut the corner off, the rice flows down, and as the rice is flowing down, the pile of rice is filling. So the filling comes from kind of something growing from the first grains upwards.
Yeah.
And it comes from a sinking process downwards and filling at the same time. And one of the things we say in Tai Chi is there's always things going in opposite directions at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay, so as you're sinking, you're filling. So we have to understand how to do that in our bodies and what that actually means. But unless you've got the stability of the first bits of grains of sand, you can't build the next bits on top of it.
Yeah.
So the stages of learning about filling and learning about something getting stronger as it feels comes from the groundwork of letting go from the base upwards. And when you can let go from the base upwards, and when you feel your foot really nicely pressed onto the ground, then you can feel the knee connecting in. That's the first bit of the filling up that has to then come through the rest of the whole body. And for that to happen, the body has to have a flowing down quality. Like we talk about things like egg timers, but that's really to get the process of sinking happening, and filling comes out of the sinking. And one of the ideas of pressing into the wall is that you can feel the filling come right back through the whole body. You can feel the connection right through the whole body when you press into the wall.
That makes it's a lot clearer from that explanation.
Yeah,
I just used to think, well, are we filling up with something? You know, like sort of sensation you were supposed to be feeling.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't, but that's probably, like you say, just the understanding of what that means, and the two forces going in the opposite directions definitely makes sense.
If you can focus on releasing and creating a really good structure, the filling up happens by itself.
Yeah.
Right. The filling up isn't something you can do. The filling up is like, you know, you've got a liquid in one hand and a liquid in the other. The filling up of this glass comes from the pouring into it.
Yeah.
Automatically.
Yeah.
And the filling up of the body comes from one part of the body settling into the bit below and becoming kind of like full from that, not from something you actually do. It's from letting your body settle into itself that you become full. And to try and become full, you'll probably tighten your muscles and try and get a feeling of fullness rather than letting it just come from letting go.
Thank you.
It's a really good question, actually, because it shows me the importance of using the right words to try and describe something. Because what we're trying to find is really almost impossible. It's complicated, you know. It's complicated to describe. To try and translate a feeling into words, and then give that back to someone to try and find is hard to do. So the questions are good because it means I have to think about the right way to kind of frame it that fits in with what we're doing. The other thing is different Tai Chi systems, we're all kind of trying to do the same thing. And Paul Fretter described it really nicely. He said, we're all trying to do this thing called Tai Chi. If you imagine a jigsaw box, it's all the same picture. But the pieces in each system are cut differently. But the pieces in one person's method don't fit with the training pieces in another method, and yet the picture's the same.
Mm.
So you may find that something from a different class kind of makes sense, but kind of doesn't, even though we're trying to get to the same thing at the end. And I know Patrick's method, but I don't know how other schools of Tai Chi cut their pieces up. Don't know, because I haven't trained with them.
It'd be very hard if you kind of train with one teacher for a long time, it'd be very hard to go back to a previous teacher. Well, is that so? Because you kind of teach differently.
Yeah, your muscle memory is difficult to change. Like I've had 3 major teachers in 40 years, and I found it very difficult. Each point of changing, I found it quite difficult to unpick some of the habits that came from, you know, you want your body to move habitually, but in the right way. You don't want it to move habitually in the wrong way. And then the next teacher says, actually, try and find it this way rather than that way. And your body starts going back to what it's always used to doing. So when you start to really listen, you can make changes more easily. But when you're working under the habit of how your body moves, it's hard to change. But that's the learning process. Nobody's going to have one teacher that whole life.
My teachers are my. I just say my teachers are my cats. They're very good. They're very good at just letting everything go.
Cats are fantastic. How many have you got?
2.
Right, fantastic.
I said they're very, very, very good at releasing and letting go and just going.
Yeah.
So funny.
You've probably seen my dog wandering around.
The back of the curtains.
Yeah, he's one of my teachers.
Yes.
Great, good. Okay, let's leave it there for tonight.
Thank you.
Enjoy your practice. I'll send you the video tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks a lot.
See you.
Bye.